Did you know that so many classic MCs have albums out right now? Yes, I'm dropping my new album, The Different Kids, but did you know MC Lyte has an album out? The Ruler Slick Rick has an album out. The GOAT LL Cool J has an album out. The God Rakim has a new album out. Will Smith, Public Enemy just dropped a new album. Snoop and Dre has a dope album out. Ice Cube has a dope album out. You have Arrested Development, you have Redman, you have Ghostface, you have Smith and Wesson, you have Daddy-O, you have Billy Dance from M.O.P, all with heat right now. So the classic hip hop lane is here. All you gotta do is search for it. You don't have to ask about whatever happened to real hip hop. Where's real hip hop? It's here. Tag a classic MC in the comments.
What's up, family? Are you aware how many old school artists dropped albums recently? I'm gonna show you a list. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now here's my thing. A lot of old school artists are dropping albums right now. In my opinion, I think this is where music should have been or should be. Right now we got a lot of the little YNs doing their thing, and some of it sounds good, some of the beats are good, but like I said, at the same time, it's not the same as it was in the late 80s, early 90s. I think rap took a turn, and I blame the industry. I blame the music industry. I think some of the record execs that took over some of the previous small labels and major labels, they somehow, I guess, made a choice to move the music from the positivity that we used to have. You guys remember like Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, that type of vibe? Well, that doesn't really exist too much anymore. Just think though, if they never downplayed that and let that kept growing or whatever, imagine where music would have been now. So really, it's still going. It's just not mainstream. It's just not on the radio. You know, they play the same old songs on the radio and they promote a lot of this new rap stuff that they got going on. You know, yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I think they doing that for a reason. Even our old, gangsta music had a lesson in it. It had a message. You know, when NWA dropped, F the Police and a lot of the tracks back then, there was a message in there though. It was something that we can learn from. Even like CMW, DJ Quick, things like that, there was still a message because they were talking about growing up in the hood, and they were just referencing things that they saw on a daily basis, whether it was, substance abuse or just, some type of violence or whatnot. They were just basically telling the story. I don't think they were really glorizing, taking glory to, negative activity. I think they was just telling the world what was going on in their neighborhood. And it started with politics from the top, from Ronald Reagan all the way down with the Battle Ram, if you guys remember that song, and, everything that was going on in California at the time, in LA and Compton and Watts and stuff like that. But they were just telling the story. And then it went from that to things that happened with, Rodney King and the police violence that they were experiencing. So they were just basically letting the world know what was going on in their neighborhood. And that kind of went around the United States all the way from, California to New York. A lot of us, mainly, minority groups or whatnot, all inclusive, was kind of going through similar things. Not saying all, law enforcement are bad, because they're not. Primarily, it's probably a few that's making the whole look bad. You may agree or disagree, but at the same time, I think it was important to get that message out. So anyway, back to, the 90s and 80s. I mean, music was totally different then. I mean, I understand that it was probably kind of growing up, the birth of hip hop and things like that. So everything that we were doing was brand new. But do you remember when Das Effects came out? That sound was so different. I don't think they rapped like anybody else at the time in the way they did it. And it was so revolutionary. But now you can't really say that about some of these new artists. Like I haven't heard anything that just made me go, wow, that I've never heard that before. To be honest, they all sound the same now. I mean, if you turn on the radio, they all have the same type of tone. There's not really a whole lot of difference. They all use auto-tune for the most part. You can agree or disagree. And they all have the same name. It's Da Baby, Lil Baby, Baby. I mean, I can't tell which one is which. No dissing. I'm just putting it out there. At least back then, we knew who was who. It was almost like a team of superheroes. You know how you had a Justice League and things like that. But you knew like who was who in the group. Busta Rhymes, he had his group, the Flip Mode Squad. De La Soul had their clique. De La Soul, just naming some, just some of the talented artists that we had back then. Busta went from leaders of the new school to just being his own superhero and forming the Flip Mode Squad. But even if you just look at that, he still always kind of found a way to stay relevant. And he still raps, to me, better than a lot of these new rappers now. So crown to the king there, you know, with Busta Rhymes in the hip hop world. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, is it just me, or has music really changed over the last couple decades? The beats may still sound good, but I think the message is off. And I think that's what's kind of messing up our kids' brains now. I'll be honest, I think hip hop saved my life back then because there was a lot of positive messages within hip hop. The Wearing of the Backpack by Kanye West and Grand Poobah. They were Boys to Men was, you know, singing songs in college or whatnot, but it gave you the feel to want to go to college and things like that. A lot of people used to step to Chubb Rock songs and stuff like that. Plus, rap was a lot funner back then. We could do party songs, anything from Young MC to you name it. It was party songs, and we had a good time. But now with this new stuff, they still got some party music in there, to each his own. But I've got friends that grew up with hip hop that don't even listen to rap anymore now. I mean, they still listen to a lot of the older songs, including myself, and then we still listen to some new songs, but the new stuff doesn't have anything on the old stuff. Again, like I said, I think the record execs is who I blame. The industry is who I blame. I think they took a turn away from what rap should be now, or was, to where it should be now. That's a change, and I'm thinking with the release of these new albums from old school artists, I believe that we're trying to take our block back, basically. You know, we got to do that because, you know, we can't allow executives and people in these high buildings to set the narrative on our culture, on what we created. You know what I mean? So I appreciate and I applaud the rappers from the old school taking the narrative back by dropping albums, and they still got it. If you take a minute and listen to just a few of the songs, you know, from each album, you see it. They still got the old feel, but it's up to date. I'll give shout outs to LL Cool J, Rock the Bells. I think he probably did one of the best with his new album, or his album is one of the best of the new albums, I should say it like that. It sounds good. He's getting a lot of airplay. I mean, a little biased because he's got his own station, but regardless, if you listen to some of his music, LL is another one, just like Busta Rhymes, that crown the king. He's never really lost the rhythm. He's always found a way to reinvent himself and not play himself. He's still the same LL Cool J. So let me know what you think if you've heard any of these new albums I got here on the screen, and let me know what you think about these albums. Were they good? Some of the ones I've thumbed through, I'm not gonna front it. I think some songs were okay, given it's been about 30 years for some of these rappers. Some of the songs were okay. They could have been better, but I still feel the nostalgia in it. So I still appreciate that they dropped this music. So leave in the comments, people. Let me know if you bought some of the new albums from the old school artists, or if you plan to support. And let me know what you think about the music industry. Do you think that it's changed from when we grew up in the 80s and 90s to what it is now? Do you care for some of the new rap? Or do you think that we should have continued the previous narrative of what we used to do with positive and party music and message music and kept it going to current? Okay, people, before you go, make sure you hit that like, subscribe. Make sure you go back and check out some of my other videos. I appreciate your support. The channel's been growing. Peace.